Hello, everybody. So we are doing the 2nd of July, the first shift of CHSL 2024. Without wasting much time, I'll be correctly solving all the questions. Okay, which theory describes the collective effects of change of the Earth's movement on its climate over thousands of years. So, as the name suggests, continental drift theory. This is talking about how continents were drifting apart or coming together. The plate tectonics theory is talking definitely about the plates or the plates on which continents are situated, the tectonic plates, okay, due to which the rubbing or coming together or falling apart of the tectonic plates which lead to earthquakes. Okay, so we only have two options over here which are not related to which might be related to climate over thousands of years. Okay, so Copernicus's heliocentric theory and Milkanovich theory. Okay, so this Copernicus heliocentric theory also might be um, focusing on something which has some centric issue or maybe a little bit of earthquakes. So we'll be guessing on this. So Milkanovich theory. Okay. So the Milkanovich theory explains the long-term changes in Earth's climate, which are caused by changes in its orbit and rotation axis over tens of thousands of years. Okay. So it mainly focuses on eccentricity, axial tilt, precession, and the wobble in the Earth's rotation. Okay, and multiple distributions of like solar energy and see this whatever goes on, the changes which are mentioned in point number two, they lead to the geographical distribution of solar energy, which leads to climate changes like ice ages or interglacial period. Okay, and all the other things are written here. You may read about them. Copernicus's heliocentric theory said that okay, this proposed that the sun, not the earth, is at the center of the solar system and it is not related to climate change. Okay, moving on. A dash is a cloud of dust and gas inside a galaxy. Yeah. See, it's talking about a cloud of dust and gas inside a galaxy. Inside a galaxy, you have multiple stars. Inside a galaxy, you have stars, you have planets, then you have asteroids, and you have all the other all the other heavenly bodies. Okay, so what happens is it's asking about cloud of dust and gas. So photosphere and chromosphere are the layers of the sun. Black hole is a body which has the capacity which does not let light enter it, and even if light enters it, it cannot it cannot go out. Okay, light cannot go out. So nebula is the answer. Nebula is a body. It's a vast cloud of dust in space, which is often visible in the night sky as a bright patch or darker silhouette against other luminous matters. So nebula is a star creator and a star destroyer. Nebula is a star creator and a star destroyer. So this thing needs to be learnt. Okay, nebula is a star creator as well as a star destroyer. Moving on. Which of the following was the last dynasty of the Vijayanagara Empire? Which of the following dynasties was the last empire of which of the following was the last dynasty of the Vijayanagara Empire? So the options are, I'll tell you what it is. It started with Sangama, then uh, Saluva, then Tuluva, and in the end Aravidu. Aravidu. So the last dynasty is Aravidu. It was a factual question and it is related to history. You may read about it over here. Okay, I hope everybody has read it. Moving on. What is the name of the centrally sponsored scheme related with the literacy that was launched by the Government of India in March 2023? Factual question. If you know it, you know it. I'll just increase the font size. New Indian Literacy Program. Okay, New Indian Literacy Program is the answer to it. You may read about it over here by pausing the video. The main point over here is the scheme is aligned with the Sustainable Development Goal 4, SDG 4, which seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Okay, moving on. How many types of writs can be issued by the Supreme Court to protect the fundamental rights of Indian citizens? The answer is five. There are five writs. One is habeas corpus. Second is mandamus. Third is certiorari. Then next is quo warranto, and the last is prohibition. Last is prohibition. Okay, so the answer is five. You may read about them over here. What all the writs mean. Habeas corpus, it is basically to produce the person who is detained before the court. Okay, to produce the detained person before the court is habeas corpus. Mandamus means to command a public authority to perform a duty. Prohibition is to prevent the lower courts from exceeding their jurisdiction. Certiorari is to quash the orders of a lower court after judicial review. Quo warranto is the question. It questions the legal authority of a person to hold a public office. Okay, and also uh, the writs are a mechanism to enforce all the fundamental rights which are in the Article 12 to 35. Okay, and Article 32 houses all these writs under the name of right against right against tell me everybody, right against it's basically constitutional right for using constitutional remedies. Okay, so right for constitutional remedies. Moving on. As per Olympic rules in the third, right to constitutional remedies is basically right to constitutional remedies. As per Olympic rules in the third game, badminton player change ends when a side scores how many points. So in a badminton game, it is best of three. Best of three. Okay. There's player A, there is player B. Let's say the first game was won by player A and the second game was won by player B. Only and only then a third game would be played, and the first game would be of 21 points, the second game would be of 21 points, and each time the side would be changed. The side would be changed at the end of each game, and in the last game, let's assume A is on the left side and B is on the right side. Okay, A is on the left side and B is on the right side. What would happen is in the middle of the game at means at 11 points, sides would change. 11 points, side change. So this is very, very important. At 11 points, the side would change. Sides would change. You may read about it over here. Dash is a significant festival of the Parsi people who practice Zoroastrianism and it marks the birth anniversary of the Zoroaster. Okay. So these are four options. The answer is Khordad Sal, Khordad Sal. Okay. What about all the other four options? I'll tell you about them. The Ghambars are the seasonal festivals of Zoroastrianism. The Pateti is basically the New Year's Eve. It is the New Year's Eve. And Jamshed-e Navroz is the New Year's Day. Okay. So it's basically New Year. In New Year, there is one Eve and there is a day. Jamshed-e Navroz. Then on the eve, it is Pateti. Okay. And the birthday, the birth anniversary of the Zoroaster is Khordat Sal. Okay, Khordat Sal. You may get confused in the new year, so that is why I gave you everything about it. On which river of India was the Somasila Dam built? The answer is Pennar River. Okay, you may read about it over here. It's a South Indian river. It is an important irrigation project aimed at providing water for agriculture purposes in the drought-prone areas of Nellore district and in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, this river flows through Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. You may read about it over here. By which Ministry of Government of India was the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana started? This particular Yojana, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, was started by the Ministry of Rural Development. Again, a factual question. If you know it, you know it. If you don't, you may definitely skip it. There's no harm in skipping the question because it just attracts negative marking. You may read about it over here. The primary aim is to uplift the urban and rural poor by enhancing livelihood opportunities through skill development and other initiatives. Okay, it was started by the Ministry of Rural Development. How many times has India won the SAF championship as of December 2023? And the answer is 9 times. Okay, you need not remember which all years, but I have written, but you may read about it over here. India has claimed the SAF championship 9 times as on December 2023. The full form of SAF is South Asian Federation Football Federation. Okay, South Asian Football Federation. Cool. Moving on. Which kind of computer security requires verifying the genuineness of the individual or organization that wants to access the system? Okay. If you see all of it, you might be confused in confidentiality and authenticity and authentication. What happens in confidentiality is that a message is a message is kept secret, and in authentication a person is verified. Person is verified. Okay, so authentication and confidentiality might have confused each other. Okay, so non-repudiation is basically a security message. It is a security measure that ensures a sender cannot deny having sent the message. Okay, availability is simple. It ensures the information and resources are accessible to authorized individual whenever needed, and confidentiality involves protection of information from being accessed by unauthorized parties. Moving on, who among the following is a famous classical dancer? Okay, Asha Bhosle is a singer. S. Janki. You might be confused between Pratibha Ray and Sonal Mansingh. Sonal Mansingh is a very well-known Bharatnatyam and Odissi dancer. So this is the particular answer. You may read more about Sonal Mansingh and other people who were mentioned above down here. You may pause the video and read about them. Okay. So we have to match the list of name of compositions versus the writers. So Vande Mataram, Jana Gana Mana, and Mere Vatan Ke Logo. Okay. So we are pretty sure about Jana Gana Mana, which was written by Rabindranath Tagore. So if we just mark 2A, would we be able to get the answer? And yes, we would be able to get the answer. So that is the, I'm so sorry, it was 2C. It was 2C. So 2C is also only one option. So this was the particular answer. You may read about them over here. Vande Mataram was Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Janagaman was Janaganamana was Janaganaman was Janaganamama was Rabindranath Tagore. Janaganaman was this person Rabindranath Tagore, and A Mere Batan Ke Logo was C. Ramachandra. Was composed by C. Ramachandra, and Kavi Pradeep was the writer. Okay. The loss of water in the form of water droplets from leaves of plants is called what? Okay. People might be looking for the answer of transpiration. Transpiration is nothing but the breathing of plants. Okay, but the loss of water in the form of water droplets on the leaf of plants is called what? So it's called guttation or guttation, whatever you may want to call it. Guttation is a process in which water is expelled from the edges of the leaves and plants. This typically happens during the night or early in the morning when soil moisture level is high and transpiration is low. Okay, this process is driven by root pressure, which occurs when the roots of the plants absorb water from the soil. Guttation is basically release of water, and it is in the form of liquid form. Okay, so the difference between guttation and and transpiration. So they release liquid in guttation, and in transpiration they release water vapor. Okay, transpiration is like breathing, like breathing. Okay, moving on. PC Mahalanobis is remembered as a major contributor of India's development path because he set up India's Institute of Managements. The answer is no, because it's talking majorly about the second 5-year plan or the first 5-year plan. The scene is that IIMs were established during the times of Nehru, and 1960s the IIMs were established, and they were established by Nehru. So the A option is wrong, and if A is wrong, then only B is true. Okay, he formulated the second 5-year plan, and he formulated the industrial setup. He also found the Indian Statistical Institute in 1931. Okay, he established the Indian Statistical Institute. Got it? Moving on. Which clause of Article 20 incorporates the doctrine of double jeopardy? Okay, Article 20 has three clauses. Article 20 has three clauses: 1, 2, and 3. The first one says one once crime, once once a crime, once a punishment. This is an easy way to remember it. The Article 20 clause 2 talks about double jeopardy. Um, one crime w- would be punishable only once. No, no, no. The first one is wrong over here. One crime would be punishable only once. And the third one talks about, we'll come to the third one. We'll talk about the first one back over here. Okay. The Article 20, Clause 1. Article 20, Clause 1. I'll just click on the second one and just gather a few cues from here. Okay. The first one deals with ex post facto law. Ex post facto laws. What happens in ex post facto law is, like, if something was not a crime when you committed it, then you would not be punished for that. In part 2, one crime would be punished only once, so it's not double jeopardy. And third one is basically incrimination. Self incre No, third one is, yeah, self incrimination. Incrimination. So no self incrimination is possible. You cannot be a witness against yourself in your own case. Okay, so these are the three options, and there is no clause 4 in Article 20. Which of the following types of crops are sown after the end of the monsoon season? The answer is Rabi crops. Again, a factual question. You may read about it over here. Rabi crops are sown after the monsoon season ends, generally from October to December. What about Zaid crops? Zaid crops are short season crops which are grown between Rabi and Kharif, mainly from March to June. Kharif crops are sown in the beginning of July, and options of, like, examples of Rabi crops are wheat, barley, chickpeas, peas, mustard, and gram. And Kharif crops are rice and maize. And Zaid crops are fruits, usually fruits. Okay, watermelon is particularly the one. Okay, who's the founder of modern microfinance? Again, a very factual question. The answer to it is Muhammad Yunus. Okay, Muhammad Yunus. He also received a Nobel Prize in 2006 2006 Nobel Peace Prize. Nobel Peace Prize. And the reason for getting the Nobel Peace Prize was he set up the Grameen banks. Grameen banks. Okay. Grameen banks and the person himself, they received the Nobel Prize jointly. And currently, Muhammad Yunus is the head of the government of which country? Bangladesh. Okay. After Sheikh Hasina fled the country after the military coup, he has been announced as the head of the government. Okay. Yeah, you may read about it over here. Microcredit or microfinance. Microfinance means giving people small loans against no collateral. Who among the following was primarily an integral part of the International Army? So out of the four, Subhash Chandra Bose was the one who made his own Azad Hind Fauj by renaming INA. Okay, you may read about him over here. Match the following musical instruments with the maestro who plays them. So we are pretty sure, if you may just look at all of them, Shehnai and Bismillah Khan. So Bismillah Khan was the person. Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan. Bismillah Khan was the person who played the Shehnai on the Independence Day Eve. On the Independence Day's Eve at the Red Fort. At the Red Fort. So C1. If we check C1, there are two options. So we'll check sitar. Okay, sitar is played by Anushka Shankar, and Anushka Shankar is a daughter of Pandit Ravi Shankar. Okay, so this is the answer B4. B4. Okay, so this is the option. You may read about everybody over here. You may read about everybody over here by pausing the video. I'll be moving on. In which year was tennis included in the Olympic Games? Tennis was included in the Olympic Games right at the beginning. 1896, the first Olympics. The first Olympics were held in Athens. Okay, there itself, Olympics tennis was already there. Okay, the inaugural modern Olympics in Athens, 1896. Got it. Tennis was subsequently dropped from the Olympics in 1924 and reintroduced. 1924 dropped, and in 1988 reintroduced or reinstated. Okay, moving on, and it was the Seoul Olympics. Seoul Olympics, okay, where it was reinstated. There's one more event at the Seoul Olympics, this 1988 Seoul Olympics, archery, and that too Indian archery. Indian archery debut happened in 1988 Seoul Olympics. In 2003, Gulab Chand Kataria became the governor of which state? The answer is Assam. Okay, you may read about him over here. He's from BJP. You may read about him everywhere, like over here. Gulab Chand Kataria, a senior leader from the Bharatiya Janata Party, was appointed as the governor of Assam in 2023 by the President of India. The governors are appointed by the President of India. In MS Word, which of the features allows you to create different headers and footers for an odd and an even page? Sometimes you find the answer of the question in the question itself. So different odd and even pages, this is the option. You may read about them over here, more about them over here. Okay, moving on. According to the census of 2011, which state has the largest gap between male and female literacy? Very, very factual question. The answer is Rajasthan. You may read about everything over here, everything over here. Who among the following was appointed to the UN Tax Committee in July 2021 as a member? This is basically a dead affair. or a very, very old current affair. So Rashmi Ranjan Das is the answer. You may remember it. So I hope all of you got to understand the mentality of how we work in this, and most of the questions were correct. Thank you.